Welcome to Hitmarker News. Divergence Week 2 just wrapped up, and with one more weekly qualifier left, the pressure is on for all teams looking to compete in the monthly finals. I was unable to cover Week 1 due to some outside sources, so I'll give you a little recap, and then we'll jump straight into the full coverage of Week 2. Week 1 of Divergence pitted 32 teams against each other, with Bork and Calamity facing off in the finals. The teams of 4 Kings, 3 KV, Cavemen, Impact, and Hivemind Echelon gave their all in some really exciting games, but fell short of a top 2 finish. While Bork had a clean sweep of the entire tournament, Calamity had a little bit more of a rough time. They fell in the losers bracket after a quick 2-0 against Bork in the winners semifinal match. They then had to climb all the way back up, starting in the losers quarterfinal, fighting past 3 other teams for a second chance against Bork. Calamity ended up taking second place with no cash prize, but they did secure a slot in the monthly finals, and Bork took home $500 and their own spot in the finals. Before I fill you in on what happened during Week 2, there are a couple changes that do need to be addressed. First off, skins being banned. There's a new section in the rulebook that states that lists different skins that need to be banned. So far, it is only the Disco Portal skin. Both the Ring and Portal effects have made that list. With the constantly changing colors, it was too difficult for some teams to distinguish if it was a friendly or hostile portal. How teams gain points has also changed. For clarity, during Week 1, every win that a team earned was worth 1 point. Now, from Week 2 onwards, any win in the winner's bracket is worth 2 points, and any win in the loser's bracket is worth 1. I'll have an updated rankings list for you guys at the end of the video. Round 1 kicked off Week 2 on Pantheon with Team Athena and NaCl. Both teams were new this week, which made it very exciting to see how they would perform. Unfortunately for NaCl, the game was pretty one-sided. They struggled to hold on to a single point for much of the game. Athena kept up constant pressure on each point NaCl was able to secure and won the game 700 to 224. Game 2, NaCl had a much better start, grabbing the first hill and securing 19 points in a back and forth fight. That is, however, the only points they were able to score, until Athena had about a 180 point lead. Athena ended up winning the game 250 to 21. NaCl ended up dropping into the losers bracket. The winners quarterfinal had Cavemen versus Origen Gaming on Sauce Stadium. Cavemen were relentless in their assault. Anytime Origen would pick up a point, Cavemen were there to take it away. 3 members of Cavemen racked up almost 4 times the number of kills as they had deaths. It was an all-out slaughter, and Cavemen ended up winning 700 to 94. Game 2 was on Club Silo, where Cavemen kept the pressure up the entire time. Okuvo alone pulled in 24 kills to 3 deaths. Cavemen looked really strong during both matches and ended up winning 250 points to 44. During the winners semifinals match, we got to see the returning second place holders from Week 1, Calamity, go up against the highly praised Quake team like Techies on Atlantis. Techies started off the game very strong, holding a 100-point lead for almost the entire match. With points going back and forth between teams, Techies were able to increase their lead to about 200 points and then ended up 3-capping to finish off the game for 700 to 375. In Game 2, Calamity chose to take it to Pantheon. Historically, Calamity has done very well on King of the Hill and on Pantheon, so this could have been a good call on their part. Although they fought hard, Techies were able to secure the win 250 to 186, sending Calamity into the losers bracket. Techies faced off against Athena during the winners final on Helix. The game was a back and forth battle during the beginning. Neither team was able to hold much of a lead for too long. Like Techies eventually gained a pretty sizable lead and held it to finish 700 to 482. Game 2 took place on Outpost, where Techies gained an early lead. They didn't give Athena much breathing room when they weren't on a point, and Techies won the finals 250 to 118. We finally got to see the newly merged 4 Kings and 4 Queens roster of Entice play against Cavemen in the losers quarterfinal. Cavemen retained a decent lead for about 2 minutes when Entice came in and secured a 3 cap for the win of 700 to 252. Game 2 started off with Cavemen leading, but it was much closer of a point value. Entice were able to swing the points in their favor and took Game 2 250 to 169. That was also the very first 40 bomb of the day, with Entice's Jack pulling 40 kills and 14 deaths. There were no breaks for Entice as the losers semifinals match against Calamity opened up on Outpost. Calamity presented their determination to make another grand finals finish. They secured Game 1 700 to 463. Game 2 was back on Pantheon. Calamity had a much better time than previously. They scored 53 points before Entice could finally stand on the hill and start their climb. However, Calamity didn't falter, and they won a very close game of 250 to 242. The losers final started off really well for Calamity. They had almost a 100-point lead before Athena could even secure one. Athena ended up getting 2 hills, which gave them the much-needed momentum to catch up to Calamity's impressive start. Control of the hills went back and forth, with Athena who pulled ahead in one of the closest domination games we've seen yet, with a final score of 700 to 600. Game 2, again on Pantheon, was where Calamity had to make their comeback. They held a close lead for quite a while, but once Athena pulled ahead, they were not able to get any of it back. Athena won 250 to 178, and normally that would mean Calamity are out. But because they qualified last week, they still keep their place, they just don't win any money. The Grand Finals Game 1 was on Highwind, a map that seems to be disliked by most teams, either being banned or outright avoided. That didn't seem to bother Athena, who had a very solid game against Techies. They secured the game 700 to 516. Techies picked Club Silo for Game 2, and it was very apparent why, as they held the first couple points with ease. Athena did start to fight back, but it wasn't enough, and Techies won 250 to 138, which took us to the only Game 3 of the entire day. The last game of Week 2 took place on Olympus. Techies secured an early lead, but Athena wouldn't give up. They came so close to at least tying the game, but it just wasn't enough. Techies won 50 to 41, earning them the prize money and first place. Athena still qualify for the monthly final, but they could come back next weekend and try for the grand prize. With the ending of Week 2, we are one qualifier away from the top 8 teams competing for their share of $2,000 US. Currently, Cavemen and Entice are tied for top points. If neither of them qualify during Week 3, then they are in the running to be brought in for the monthly final. I'm hoping to see 3KV and Impact return since they didn't make an appearance during Week 2. Thank you so much for watching my Divergence Week 2 coverage. I'll be doing one of these for each week. So, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any feedback, make sure to leave that in the comment section below. And if you want to be notified for the next Divergence coverage or any of our other videos that we upload, please subscribe and ring the bell. My name is Jaws. Have a good night.